A key to leadership is acknowledging your reaction and managing your response. What does that mean? As a manager, it can feel hard because you may have been used to just doing the work. Now you're leading this team, and teams are made up, whether you have one direct report or many, of people that can be very different from you, have different motivations, thoughts, all of these things. And so your reactions at times may be, oh, this person did great. Other times it may be, why would they do that? And so then when you read these things or hear about leadership, this is what I'm supposed to do in different situations. A lot of times people can feel confused, frustrated, guilty about, well, I react like this. What am I supposed to be, a different person? And my answer is no. Your reaction in any situation is human. So whether it's someone messes up and you're like, oh, okay, now there's work that's going to have to be done. Or there's a big meeting, someone's sick, they can't come all of a sudden. Okay, scramble, there's going to be work. That's natural, because what you're going to have to do may mean having to pick up extra work and figure things out, and that can feel hard. And so those feelings of like frustration, confusion, guilt, those aren't going to be productive. So it's important to understand how that feels in that situation. But as a leader, a key is how you respond. So knowing however you react internally, okay, that's you, that's human. But how you respond is your leadership, how your team member senses how you're thinking about them and how you're talking to them. And so in any situation, understanding that taking a pause and knowing whether you're on a Teams chat, whether you're in person, whether you're just getting an email, is whatever that feeling you have, okay, that's human. But how you respond in that moment is really going to be key. Both your body language, like if someone says, I'm sorry, I'm sick, or my child's sick, or school's canceled, I can't make it. If your reaction is like, that person probably had a pit in their stomach telling you that, and they're probably going to have one next time because they know that you're annoyed, frustrated, they see that. And so as a leader, it's moving beyond your reaction to understanding in any situation, things will work out. You may have to do a bit more in that moment. You may have to scramble, figure things out, tell people, okay, we're going to move this. But leadership is whether your team knows that when they come to you with a question, with a challenge, with an I messed up, that they know that it's a situation of trust and that you have their back and that you'll figure it out. And sometimes having someone's back is saying, okay, you made that mistake. You've done that before. We got to talk about that. We can't make that mistake again. And I understand it's happening. Let's talk about how we can change that moving forward. So that's not coddling someone or telling them like, it's okay, don't worry about it. Because if someone is making a mistake over and over, you're going to have to address it as their manager. But it's also talking to them in that situation and having those questions like how this is happening. Because your response in any situation, there are a few things that can be really important. One is support. Whenever anything is going wrong with a team member, especially in their life outside of work, illness, bereavement, family, personal issues, all those things, they're bringing that with them. And they're going to have it with them. And so how you respond is going to impact greatly how they're able to work despite that. Because in those moments of saying like, oh, I'm so sorry. All right, let's see what we can do. In figuring out ways you can relate to them as a human, those short sentences, 1-2 sentences, creates a whole environment of trust. And where that situation, your team member knows they can come to you and get that level of support and you'll figure it out. And so in the reaction mode, as a human, you may be scrambling underneath and thinking, okay, what are we going to do? And you'll figure it out. You'll have things time and time again as a people manager. If you've experienced that, you'll see it. But knowing over time, your reaction will probably naturally be of one of more empathy and understanding where team members are coming from. But especially as you move into management or you see situations for the first time, your reaction may be, I have no idea what to do. But projecting that calm, supportive response. Or if it's the flip side, where someone is making a mistake, doing something wrong, having that response be one of asking questions and figuring out what information you may not have. In the end, maybe a conversation that is pretty much, you can't do this, and explaining why. But in any situation, when your team members come to you and they know that you'll have your support as a response, or they'll be able to have a conversation with you to really solve it in the long term and not just feel like they're getting in trouble. That all of a sudden they're like that little kid again, sitting at the top of the stairs, worrying about how their family members will react. That's a very real emotion that your team members have. And so knowing that as a manager, you won't master it on day one, but knowing in any situation, don't worry about your reaction. Just know that. But do think about how you respond, your body language, and things that you can work on, and practicing that. So when your team members come to you saying, okay, it's okay, and projecting that calm, things will get figured out. And we'll talk in all sorts of videos about what you can do in situations. But your reaction and then your response are what really can set you apart as a leader.